Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this YouTube channel on narcissism. Have you ever heard the old saying, don't get mad, get even? Let's break that one down here. I don't think it's a very nice thing to say to someone, don't get mad, get even. I think sometimes in my mind I'm like, that's a good, it's kind of cool, but it's not great, right? So let's call this a proverb. Actually, I think it was President Kennedy back in the 60s who kind of made it famous, but apparently it goes farther, much farther back than that. It's a basic, it's the face of it, is what it sounds like. It's a proverb instructing people to not waste their time on anger, instead focus on revenge, right? So you might be thinking, well, that proverb is going to work for narcissistic people because they love revenge. It can be, yes. But the thing is, for them, I think it would be get mad and get even, right? Because they don't tend to quell their emotions much and would use the anger as a jumping off point to revenge. I actually think we could harness this as a survivor proverb. How so? Well, first of all, I don't agree with the don't get mad part. You feel angry, get mad, right? I do think that the getting mad part is fine because it tends to be a motivator. However, what about the getting even part? Well, the problem is that when people are attempting to seek revenge against a narcissist, they try to play the narcissistic person's ground game and seek out revenge in the same way that a narcissistic person would, which is not a good idea because narcissistic people are really good at being vindictive. For example, in a narcissistic divorce, trying to use the courts to get the revenge you want, or in a narcissistic workplace, trying to use a labor attorney or HR to get your revenge, or in a narcissistic family, trying to use your own smear campaign to get revenge. None of that is going to work. More often than not, the narcissistic person charms and prevails in family court, and unless you have unlimited resources, you will get screwed. The courts and judges simply do not understand narcissism. If you try to use legal or institutional systems to address workplace narcissistic abuse, too often the abuse doesn't qualify under most workplace rules. For example, there are few rules against workplace bullying. There's certainly no laws against it. Other harms like protected statuses in the workplace may work in your favor if you're being bullied at work, but by and large, their manipulation and gaslighting and menace usually flies under the radar, and you're the one who's seen as a difficult employee, especially if they're a high performer at work. In a family, I can promise you somehow that smear campaign, if you try to do it, will somehow backfire unless you are willing to do what a narcissistic person does in a smear campaign and spread lies about the other person. And personally, I'm telling you, don't do it. It's not good for your soul. So trying to do a smear campaign based on their emotionally abusive behavior will more often than not be met with pushback. So then, how do you get even? Stop giving them supply. Disengage. Stop sharing your pain and your grief with them. Detach and start working on you. And even as they insult you and say, oh, you got yourself a therapist who's telling you that you're so great. Well, of course they're telling you you're great because you're paying them. The more you try to grow away from them, the more they're going to try to stop you. But trust me, if you grow, if you heal, if you individuate, in your fashion, you are getting even. Now that means to get even, you do need to do your own trauma work, self-reflection, deep dives. Disengaging can be hard when it feels like you're cutting off your own arm. But to disengage and stop giving the supply is step one to getting even. The second part is you doing you. To engage in your life without wondering if they care or are noticing or are proud. They don't care because they don't care about anyone other than themselves. So as you grow yourself out and don't even share it with them, that in its fashion is sort of getting even. I hate to double dip on the proverbs here, but it is often said that revenge is a dish best served cold. And that is this, right? I don't think that you disengaging and establishing your own autonomy qualifies as revenge in any definition of revenge. But when it comes to narcissists, in a strange way, it kind of is. You just have to get okay with the idea that they're probably never going to roll up and say, well, then you got me good, didn't you? Yep, you got even. Or for them to become shattered or scared or even to surrender or change. Okay, okay, you win. I'm going to be empathic now. That's not going to happen either. To me, the getting even is the taking back of it all, taking yourself back of it all. And getting even is not easy. Trauma bonds are real. Your pain is real, but it's possible. They're going to find new supply. But at least you become a reminder that they can't always get their way. This idea of don't get mad, get even, it almost implies that now you're on an equal playing field. It's never going to be that. You were deeply hurt by this relationship. I'm not convinced that they were. And I don't know that anything can ever make you feel fully whole after someone you thought loved hurt you. But you growing and getting yourself back and finding that autonomy, a life separate from them, is it getting even? I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but it definitely is the only way to quote unquote get revenge, because it's your growth. You're not hurting them directly, which I'm never going to get behind, and you are slowly making a life for yourself. So I'm trying to find the less mean, revengey version, but that's what this proverb's about. So get mad, get even, but above all else, take yourself back. Thanks again.